So she went on in this interview to talk about how she thought Bud Light's former marketing strategy was dated and male-focused. And she was very proud of one of the Super Bowl ads that she put together. It featured Miles Teller, who was in Top Gun Maverick, and it featured Miles and his wife, whose name I think is Kaylee. Keely, we'll listen to it. Kelly, okay, Kelly, but it's spelled weird. Anyway, so the ad is all about Miles Teller. It's about Miles Teller. It features his wife a bit, but listen to her describing the ad, Alyssa Heinerscheid.
I cast an incredible female choreographer who just brought incredibly positive, amazing energy to the spot. We cast Miles Teller and his wife, Kelly Teller, but it was really crucial to me that if you see that spot, Kelly is the heartbeat of that spot. You're seeing this whole experience through Kelly. She's the beating heart. She, I would sort of argue, is sort of what propels you through that experience. And that was intentional.
My God. I'm so sick of this nonsense, aren't you? See, the woman, the ad is about the actual one who's famous, but it was through the eyes and the heart of the woman, and it was choreographed by a woman. That is to my credit. That's really what she's saying, Eliana, right? Like, it's sort of like the Disney executive. I sneak my secret woke agenda in wherever I can.
There are a lot of layers here. First of all, I love the rainbow children's art it's like coming out of her head in the image. It's perfect. But then even before you said she was Harvard and Wharton educated, my thought was this is clearly a woman who is a product of elite institutions on the East Coast. She is part of the crowd that was certain Elizabeth Warren would be the Democratic Party's nominee in 2020, who uses terms like Latin X, and thinks that the rest of the country thinks and talks the way they do. And if they don't, they're backwards people. And who doesn't have the self-awareness to realize they live in an elite bubble and need to check their biases. Look, I'm part of that same kind of elite. I live on the East Coast. I'm a product of the same institutions. I realize I may not have my finger on the pulse of, rural America. I think a little self-awareness would have taken this woman a long way.
It's not that hard. If you bother to care, if you read certain publications, if you listen to certain reporters on this show, we take callers, it's like they don't have their finger on the pulse because they don't care, Eliana. You care. And while you may not be living in rural America, I've listened to you long enough and read you long enough to know you do care. You make an effort to learn. They don't, because they think these people are losers. They think they're gross. She's embarrassed that Bud Light is the drink of choice for Kid Rock supporters. She's grossed out. She wants it to be the people who are at Harvard and Wharton who are drinking that product. And she's gonna change that single-handedly right before she gets her ass fired, which is going to happen again.
She's going to have to pry those top shelf liquor martinis out of their cold, dead hand.
It's so true. Here's the thing. You mentioned, Emily, the score, like the DEI scores that these companies, because why? Why is Oil of Olay and Bud Light and Nike sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney now for fucking sports bras, okay? I'm sorry, Dylan doesn't have breasts. Dylan's been taking some sort of a hormone that has turned Dylan into some, I don't know what's happening there, but those are not breasts. And Dylan doesn't need any sort of a bra, never mind a sports bra. The three ladies on this program right now have 6 boobs between us, and we actually know what it's like to wear a bra, and no one would be inspired to buy one based on non-breasted Dylan Mulvaney prancing around in a Nike sports bra. By the way, Dylan also appears to have an eating disorder. I'm just going to say it. But Dylan is about 40 pounds soaking wet. So this should not be anybody's spokesperson for anything. If there were a woman who looked like that, she couldn't get an endorsement because they'd say she clearly is unwell. Okay, so why are they doing this? You touched on it, Emily, that they get these scores. They get these sort of their CEI or DEI scores, Corporate Equality Index. This is from New York Post report. A lesser known part of the burgeoning ESG score system, environmental, social, and corporate governance is ESG. And we already knew that a lot of these big investment firms, BlackRock and so on, will look at your ESG score as a company before deciding whether to invest in you. But this is something a little different. It's subsumed inside that movement, and it's being pushed by the country's top investment firms. The scores are handed out. Here's the problem. How do you get a good ESG score or a good CEI, Corporate Equality Index score? You have to please the Human Rights Campaign. The Human Rights Campaign, that's the organization that was headed by Alphonso David, who was secretly advising Andrew Cuomo on how to bury all the women who were accusing him, right? It's supposed to be like, yay, pro-gay and pro-LGBTQ. And secretly this guy was like, screw those women, let's bury them. All right, so he was forced out. But this is a hard left organization, Emily. And so no wonder, if you need to get their approval, of course you're going to use Dylan Mulvaney and the like.
It's this amazing alliance that's developed over the last decade, I would say, between the far left sort of activist class and cultural activist class, not economic activist class, but cultural activist class and big business. It's incredible to see their marriage come to fruition. And that's exactly what this is when you have firms like BlackRock, and not just BlackRock, but they will actually score companies. You can see it on the Human Rights Campaign website. They score these companies, and then that's used for investors to determine where they're steering capital. And this is like incredibly important because it's a great glimpse into how divorced a lot of the decisions these big companies make, especially investment firms make. They're not divorced. They're not in touch with the market. They're completely divorced from market forces. This is not free market capitalism. This is something completely perverted and distorted that prioritizes the opinions of this elite group of investors, DC activists, politicians, and you have good luck doing something about this. I mean, some people are trying, and you have Vivek Ramaswamy, who's now running for president, out there trying to blow the horn and wave the red flag and say this is happening. But good luck. It's not like you can just stop going to that store that you really like going to in your small town because they did something you don't like. It's not a boycott that's as easy and connected as that. It's completely a distorted market system that prioritizes the ideology of people who are completely out of touch and who have this binary where you are either fully culturally progressive or you are necessarily a bigot. We have heard this out of the mouth of the President of the United States, who's talked about Jim Crow 2.0 and a Georgia voting law that's not even as strict as his own states and Delaware's. We've heard him talk about Jim Eagle and all of that stuff. If you are not fully on board with their cause, you are a bigot, you will be penalized. And you will be penalized even if you don't proactively support them. Maybe you just quietly support them. No, it has to be proactive. Otherwise, you will be penalized. So it's just extortion that has completely shifted the incentive system in the market and in society.
It's like, I don't get it, because you're right. You can't avoid the companies that take the knee to this Human Rights Campaign and its scoring system. They include, the top scores go to, in the following order: number 1, Walmart, Amazon, Exxon, Apple, CVS. I mean, as much as I'd love to tell you I'm going to throw out my iPhone and not get my scripts filled at CVS anymore, I'm not doing that. I'm not stopping using Amazon. Like many people, I am eating healthier these days, and that is why I love good olive oil. And by good, I mean fresh. Olive oil packs the most flavor and healthiest nutrients when it's fresh from the farm. And that's the problem with supermarket olive oils. They're not fresh. They can sit on the shelf for many months growing stale. That's why I like my olive oil direct from small, award-winning farms, thanks to a guy named TJ Robinson, also known as the Olive Oil Hunter. When I first tasted TJ's farm fresh oils, I fell in love with their vibrant flavors. They are delicious on salad, veggies, pasta, meat, fish, you name it. You got to try it. Try it out for yourself. Put my word to the test. As an introduction to his fresh pressed olive oil club, TJ's willing to send you a full-size $39 bottle of one of the world's finest artisanal olive oils for just $1 to help him cover shipping. Best of all, there's never a commitment to buy anything, and you can cancel your membership at any time. Get your free $39 bottle for just $1 shipping and taste the difference freshness makes. Go to harvestfreshnow.com. harvestfreshnow.com for a free bottle and pay just $1 in shipping. harvestfreshnow.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.